Fire blaze, fire blaze, fire blaze. I just start at it up, at it up, at it up. At it up, at it up, at it up. Fire blaze turn up, he then get burn up. Anyway, them say I just.
One shot can't miss, gotta hit the target. Positive energy, destroy enemies. Bad vibes and jealousy, we no want round we. Wrong type of friends, them drain energy. Protect your energy, them not feel like we.
Their own contributions, but most people are not conscious of that. What the Africans see and what the world see is that white people is helping black people, and what I realize that cements in the minds of the African, that is, it's only white people that can look up to. It's cement in the minds of the world that Africa can only get by through the benevolence and the grace of the white people. And that needs to change. So it is important, I think, now. It's always been important, but it's particularly important now that Africa can see Africans in the West supporting Africa, supporting the reconstruction, because we're going through a phase now where Africa is reconstituting itself. And us in the West have got to be part of that. And really, we have enough people in the West, people of African descent, who have money. We have enough money about it, I know. Why should all the support be coming from white people? So, like I say, what that does is damages the psyche of the African race. And if we as a people, you see, when we talk about Black Lives Matter and all the struggles that we as black people going through, what we've got to recognize is that the reason we're going through this, our significant part of the reason is the fact that the world looks down on Africa. Let's face the fact. Even we as black people here in the West, a lot of us look down on Africa.
True.
Right? And so because of that mindset that Africa is down there, so.
True.
And the rest of the world is up there, so. Yeah? That mindset. So we are the mindset program. So
yes, sir. Mindset.
Yeah, man. We have to start to address the mindsets.
True.
Yeah. Because now that mindset means that a lot of us in the West, all we want now is to raise our money for yourself and have big this and big that and, and glorify yourself.
True.
But we don't realize that no matter how much we have, we are still seen as black people.
True.
So even the even the footballers, the man are earn ridiculous money, right? Still, they're getting racist abuse. They're still getting racist abuse, So that means no matter how much you earn, no matter who you is, you are still seen as a black man. So the only way things are going to change for us is that the perception of Africa needs to change. And if we are going to change the perception of Africa, then the sort of things that make us look like you say, Archer, Africa, is the birthplace of the human race. And we think most people when they think about Africa, they think about slavery and poverty, and most people don't realize that we are the founding of everything that man knows as civilization. And we have to go back or go forward to that point where now Africa is recognized for what Africa and who Africa is. And that is part of that journey, that part of that work. Us in the West have now got to link. We got to link hands and arms together, whether in Africa, in the Caribbean, wherever black people there. We're now supposed to be uniting and presenting a positive view of Africa for the world to see. When the world start to look up to Africa, then they will look up to each one of us as individuals. So we're going to have to, Africa is going through a renaissance, And we all have to be part of that. See? We said me talk so long enough, but me can talk all day, so go on.
Yeah, well, so all that change are go on, you know, because you have like you know, the people in power now is, you know, like politicians and, you know, governments, is them going really have to kind of make certain decision where that is concerned. Because when you look now, you still find out say outsiders is the one that, you know, is like developing. Then it's like we can develop for ourselves inside of Africa. We have to get outsiders to come and develop for us. Like, you know, we are not developers. You know what I mean? When we're supposed to have these necessary people in place. You know, we shouldn't have to import workers. So it going to have to change from, you know, the government's going to have to change the type of deals and them type of things, you know, where them make for the country.
All right, I hear that, yeah. But I don't think we have to depend on governments. We as individuals can do what we can do. Because like I said, I as one man went to South Africa, and I could see what difference it made to the people. Just one man, right? If I started an organization, yeah, called Seed for Africa. And SEED is an acronym for Self-Empowerment and Economic Development. And the whole idea behind the organization was that we now want to harness the wealth that black people in the West have, because you have so much sports people, singers, all kind of people earn money like dirt. One man want to do so much money, where some of that money can be used to make constructive development in Africa. We don't have to depend on foreigners. We have it within ourselves. It's just that we don't have the mindset to realize that that's what we now need to do. So, yeah, I have to tell you this till now, that there are people who are now engaging with that idea. And people might be surprised to learn how many people now, how many black people are moving into Africa. Yeah. You see, especially young people too now. We're not now talking about Rasta people. We are talking about business people. All sort of people are now moving into Africa because it is recognized that Africa is where it is at. Everybody wants a piece of Africa, you know, except we. Everybody wants a piece of Africa except we. And we are run from Africa. If you go up on a plane going to Africa, it's recently now you start to see black people going to Africa. But before you go up on a plane, and it's pure white people, you go to see one or two black people who perhaps going back for a holiday or something like that. White people going to Africa because what? They know that Africa is where it is at. And when I'm going, they are reaping the benefit of being in Africa. So the businesses, and they must set up the business them, right? They must employ the black man for a little dirt, and they must make the money and take the money out. None of them ever pay tax. So we supposed to be doing all of that, and we have the resources. It's just that we don't have the mindset. And as I said, we have to recognize that the reason there's a need for an organization like Black Lives Matter, because the world don't think Black Lives Matter. Because we are going like sometimes, you know, we as a race, we are failing to recognize who we are, and because we have this sort of power that most of the rest of the world don't have. but we now use it against one another. Instead of using it together. Because if Africa, well, you see, right now, Africa is moving in that direction, Africa is moving in that direction. But us in the West now need to be part of that movement. So even today, this day we were talking, so a brother ring me from Kenya, and is a youth who started an organization, and this organization has been going for a year, and the organization is part of the reconstruction of Africa. The youth are the ones who are going to do it. And what was pleasing to me today is that when he called me with an elder. This one is 76 years old, and the elder is also supporting him. So even the older now, we think say the older people now them gone past it. Even the older generation are now waking up to say, listen, we got to do things to make a change. But that change will come about when us in the West become part of that change. So even the man who have no money, yeah, the man in the ghetto who can't afford nothing, right? If the whole vibes now is that yes, we are going to focus on Africa, it makes others want to do that. Because if so you talk about governments, if the whole citizens of Jamaica then so what not deal with Africa? And people know, the government knows that, then the government have to respond.
But,
like I said,
but watch out, the people them you have to remember, say, most of the people them them not accept themselves as Africans, Because you have some people in the Caribbean, Jamaica for instance, and that's where me born and grow. You can't tell some Jamaicans say them are African, them say, yo, them no African. So you find out say that mindset that what most of the people them have, it going hard for all of the people them start to think that way in the diaspora, in the West.
Yeah, man, I know that.
It's a few, is a handful of people who right now agitate for say, boy, I even say them are African. It's a handful of people right now in the diaspora. Not every African in the diaspora say them are African. So, that's how we have an issue.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but you see, what I'm trying to say to you now is that is changing, right? And we who are conscious of the need now to accelerate that change. Because you see, even we are talk right just now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That conversation, going to reach somewhere. And there's going to be somebody somewhere who perhaps wasn't thinking that way there might begin to think, say, perhaps it's true. Because the bottom line, as I said, is that we are not going anywhere as a people unless we recognize, unless the race is recognized. As long as the African race is looked down upon, you, who is a member of that race, you're also looked down on. So the only way for you to elevate yourself or be elevated is for the race to be elevated. It's like a man. It's like a man belong to a family, and the family is known to be cook and worthless family. You belong to that family, people are going to look at you as belonging to that family. You understand what I'm saying?
True.
So we have to know that the problems that we are facing these problems because the world, including the African himself, look down on Africa. So we have to change our mindset to make a change to our benefit. Because so you find now, right? I'm going to show you. Part of the problem still is ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I mean that in the real sense of the word. Ignorance means you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's through this what I'm called the slave trade. It wasn't a trade, because trade means you give and take. No, this was trade. This was Holocaust, basically. But what people sort of don't recognize is that because of this slave trade, what I'm calling it, the white man needed to make Africa seem like we are nobody, because they claim themselves to be Christians. So Christians can't be treating people like that. If you are really a Christian, because Christian, the Bible tells us like, you must love one another and blah, blah, blah. So they had to make the African look like they were less than humans.
But hear what you're saying about the thing is now, you say the Bible are not Christian, you know, the people them are Christian, you know. The Bible is just a Bible, a book, and the people them say them is Christian. Now, when you check them people, you know, feed them religion, you know, based up of killing and pillaging and raping and stealing and all of them something there, you know. So you will find out say at that them are going to perpetrate. That is what going to come out. That is what they're going to do. You understand? So and that is what they done over the years. But for tell the Africans them that they are less than human, that you know that is even going too far.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you is, if you look into the history of the thing, yeah, that is what the white man did. He purposely create the image, because he needed to create that image, because if he did not create that image, then he could not justify what he was doing. So the black man had to be portrayed as not being a human. I mean, that's literally, you know, the black man was portrayed as being half human. Even in America, their constitution and something, I can't remember it though, but define the black man as a fraction of a human being. And that was the view that was maintained. So during that period, you know, they wiped out the real history of Africa. So people nowadays don't know their own history. And if the black man came to know who he really is, then when I said, what are you talking about? So let me tell you something, right? You say, all right, when you talk about Egypt, I'm going to show you how the thing works. Egypt is the most advanced civilization that man has ever known, even today. Man don't understand how the man that do the things what them do. The man them build something that they think is still standing today. They can't understand all the scientific work they have. They can't figure out. Up to this day, they can't figure out how those men built that. They don't understand it.
Up to today.
Yeah. Up to today, they don't understand it. And it is not just that. People in Africa was doing heart surgery years and hundreds of years ago, right? But what they did, they separated in the minds of people Egypt from the rest of Africa. But Egypt is in Africa, you know.
Yeah, man.
And the people.
Yes,
Egypt is in Africa. And
the
people, right, and the people who did this were black people. But what happened is that when the Europeans come into Africa, obviously the North of Africa is the easiest point of entry. Them couldn't come in from the south because them coming from Europe. So them coming to Africa, coming to Egypt. When they come into Egypt, yeah, because of the nature of black people, we accepted them. We just like next human being. And so after a while, some Europeans become pharaohs. You see, but there's a whole thing to this history, you know, but the bottom line is, over the years, Egypt become less and less black because of people coming in. But the original Egyptians were black people, right? I mean, the word Egypt, you know, means black land. You know that?
Sin.
That was the original. If you, all right, a man named Herodotus, these academics who study history know Herodotus as being the father of history. That means they consider Herodotus as being the first historian to write history. Herodotus lived, I can't remember exactly how long, but years in BC. From BC, Herodotus, if you read, so I'm going to point you to all these things. If you read the histories by Herodotus, when Herodotus talks about Africa, you can see how in his time, Africa was viewed. Africa was viewed with the highest regard, especially Ethiopia, right? In fact, in the histories, the history is about a war between Persia and the Greeks. And although Herodotus is a Greek, you can see the man is not, when you read the thing, you can see the man is not biased. And when he's talking about the different nations, he talk about the Persians, the this, the that. But when he talk about Ethiopia, he always use a special title. No other race get that title in this book by Herodotus. He refers to the Ethiopians as the long-lived Ethiopians. He talked about going, seeing this man. He talked about the Colchians, and he says that the Colchians say that they're originally from Egypt, and he said he personally believed them because. You know what I'm saying now? Not only because they have got black skin and woolly hair. That means, the Egyptian that he knew had black skin and woolly hair. Mm-hmm. He says that's not the only reason. He says one reason why I really believe the Colchians is because they, along with the Ethiopians, are people who practice circumcision from way back. So, listen, man. You talk about the Dogons. There's a book called The Serious Mystery. The Serious Mystery. And in this book, the brother who wrote the book, he's trying to use this thing about Sirius to prove that men have come from outer space. Because what he found, there's a tribe in Africa called the Dogons. And the Dogons, their whole life and system is based around a star. And they are talking about this star in minute detail. But Western scientists never know that this star exists. They might think these people are talking nonsense. And I think it's in the 50s that they discovered the star. And when they discovered the star, they found out that everything that these people are saying was right down to the last letter. They talk about the orbit of the star. So they go into so much detail. But what the man who write the book is trying to say, that the only way Africans could know this, man must have come from outer space to tell them that. What he don't realize is that Africans were the earliest astronomers. Africans were the earliest astronomers.
Yes,
but all of those things are now lost to us. But there are people now, who are uncovering these things. And a lot of information is out there now.
Yeah, man.
Make our ones know that really Africa is not what we've been led to believe Africa is. And on top of everything, Africa is a continent that have everything. Anything that man wants, you're going to find it in Africa. That's why the Chinese are there. That's why everybody run. That's why the white man held on to South Africa so long enough. They don't want to let it go.
But me ask you this about South Africa.
Yes.
A few years, I think about 2-3 years ago, or probably longer than that still. But there was a saying that the Europeans needed to leave and they needed to give up the farmlands without compensation. Or you view that?
Right. So, you're talking about Zimbabwe or South Africa? Because
South Africa.
Zimbabwe.
South Africa, I think Malawi, but the Virgin name was most of the one who was agitating towards that still.
Right. So, okay, what you have, right, is that after Mandela get released and, you know, and try to bring the country together, and he seemed to be of the view that it don't make sense you have fights, because if you go and fight, people just go and dead, right? So him try to build what they call a rainbow nation. Well, you know, we have to realize, you know, that people are people, and we must never forget that. And so once black people now take control, then the sort of things that you have all over where black man now just abuse them own people, that now start to take effect. So you're getting abuse now, you know, in Africa now, from Africans themselves, right? So, but there's a brother, Malimo, I can't remember the name exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, but as I say, the youth are the ones now who are making the change. So the things that I'm saying is the sort of things that he's saying too. And part of what he's saying is that I don't want to misquote him and say something wrong I'm not saying.
Paraphrase.
But the bottom line, right, but the bottom line is what I'm saying is that the white man, what him have in Africa, in South Africa, don't belong to him. He's a foreigner. And him come and take it. He's not even say, you give it to him. And I buy it. Yeah. Him come and take your things. Right? So if things have to be how it's supposed to be, then have to give up them things and no one share up the thing. But they want to hold on to what them take, they want to hold on to it. Yeah. So, and you have those in government who, because some people now, you know, from them all right, and that happen all over the place. So what we have, you know, is an ongoing struggle between the have-nots and those who have and want to keep what them have. And that's the thing there. Understand? But it's a struggle that is going to be won, because more and more people from the West, from within Africa, are beginning to engage with that struggle. So I have no doubt that struggle is going to be won. And it's going to be won more quick than a lot of people think, because Africa is on the move. I visualize, I've always said that the 21st century is the African century. Africa has got to find its feet, but there's a delicate balance happening here. And even the politicians are beginning to move in that direction, because that is what Haile Selassie was about, you know. When Haile Selassie formed the Organization of African Unity, you were to say the Organization of African Unity. There was a need for Africa to become one nation, because there's a sister, can't remember her name now because sometimes my memory don't function too well, but this, she used to be a spokesperson, no, an ambassador, U.S. ambassador for the
United, yeah, man.
Yes, she used to be, right? And she and others like her are now saying, we now have to throw out the Europeans in the real sense, because they've been thrown out politically, but they're not thrown out in terms of the power. And we now, as black people have to come together and see that this happen. And the leaders in Africa are beginning to wake up to that as well. Because now, whereas in 1963, when Selassie and them formed the OAU, it did not become what it was supposed to become. But this year what we live in now, right? Africa, they have now breaking down borders and creating, like when you talk about the European Union.
Yeah.
We're now moving. We are now moving that direction in Africa. So Africa is getting its act together, and we in the West have got to be part of that action. We want to help make it happen, and the more we do. So you say, we in the West, right? For example, in Jamaica, like you say, you can't tell some people that them is African. Some don't know what them is, because you see, people get confused between race and nationality.
True.
You can say a man is Chinese because he's of a Chinese nationality, but he can be Chinese because you're of a Chinese race. You understand? So a man who is born, say an Asian man who is born in Africa, let's say born in Kenya, he's a Kenyan national. He's a Kenyan national, but his race is still Asian. So there's no race named Jamaican. You are a Jamaican national, but your race is African.
Yes, I. That the people have to know.
You are of the African race, and even if you don't want to think you are of the African race, the rest of the world, when them see an African, they see somebody who's of the African race. So until the African race is restored to its rightful place among the brotherhood of man, you who don't want to see yourself as African, the rest of the world see you as African. So you are looking down on yourself. And that's so we have to start to look up to each other. That is what Marcus Garvey was about. But even I want to say, I would love to say something about Marcus Garvey, but we run out of time. Yeah? But that is what Marcus Garvey was about. Restoring the dignity of the African race. Because we are a proud people. We are people. We are the first people. We are the first people. All races come out of Africa. So now, those who believe in the Bible and all them kind of things, I don't want to insult anybody, because a person will know and believe what they know and believe. But when you're talking about Adam and Eve and all them kind of things, the scientists will tell you that the earth has been here for millions of years. And the first people they can find, the first mummies and skeletons they can find are in Africa. All of the first skeletons that they can find are in Africa. We were the first people. And their scientists will tell you that all the rest of the races, came out of Africa, but traveled. And so it's like Africa spread out. So by the time they reach Europe, they start to lose their pigmentation. Because you see me me born in Jamaica. Well, me even now, me not black like how I was when I was there Jamaica. Because I live in England too long. So imagine a race away from Africa for thousands of years. They're going to change. So, but we are all Africans, and we who still are pigmented, all our pigments, we are still the mother and father of civilization. And the world, and the white people recognize that, So it's not just about black people.
Black man is a progenitor or the African man is the progenitor of man.
Exactly. And so now we have to now restore our pride.
But the thing is, him don't want to accept that still, you know, all what go on, you know. Him don't want to accept that the African man is the progenitor of all man, and his genes is a recessive genes, which the Africans is dominant.
When they say they don't want to accept it, who don't want to accept it? You mean the white people or the black people?
Why people don't want to accept that? Why people don't want to accept that? That is why you find that even that power struggle in South Africa, where they don't want to give up the power, because it's not something that they don't accept it. They do not accept it.
Yeah, but my brother, listen, I hear you, right? But you see, you can make generalization, and when you say generalization, that means the majority of a certain set of
Yeah.
But although that is generally the case, there are white people who accept it. There are white people who accept it. I can point you to YouTube and other kind of where white people are saying this. White people are saying this.
No, me not say some are not saying it. You know. I'm not saying some are not saying it.
All right. Okay.
But
all right.
the majority is not saying
all right.
it. You know what I mean? Some is saying it, but the majority, which is a consolidated power, is just ones who don't see things the way that 90% see things. You know what I mean? That
yes.
You know that are just the reality. But
yes, sorry, go on.
Yeah, man. The majority do not want to accept that. You know, they still want to. You know, in America, when they look in America, you know, 2 years ago, you know, a black youth does a jog in a neighborhood, and you know, some two white virgin, probably about 3-4 of them, one of them video it, and them decide that they're gonna drive down this young man and just murder him cold-blooded, just like that. And that is because they feel like, you know, they can always do these things and get away with it because how they see African people. See, so you can see that it's not something that, you know, the majority accept.
Yeah, my brother, I hear you now. But what I'm trying to say to you now is that's why I say you can make a generalization, and generally speaking, the majority don't accept it. I know that. But the number of people who accept it now is more than accepted it 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So what I'm trying to say now, there's a growing trend towards acceptance. It's something that is slowly moving, but it's growing. So, so even the thing now with George Floyd, there's a whole white people come out and say, no, man, not wrong. People begin to see. So what we as people of African descent, we have to help to keep that development moving. But people are moving in the right direction. It's a slow process, but it's happening. But what is perhaps even more important right now is for us as a people to recognize ourselves. When we recognize ourselves, recognize each other, then we're moving in the right direction. And again, that is something that is happening now. So the world is moving in the right direction as far as we are as a people are concerned. You see, but there's an issue. So right now, as far as I see it, it's a struggle, you know. It's a struggle.
But all right, Elder, you know, say, Kabi, you mentioned Black Lives Matter, and there's a lot of ones out there. And I probably would say majority of the people do not really gravitate to it because, you know, they must say it's been hijacked. You know what I mean? It's not run by African people. It's not an organization. It's not something that, you know, run by African people. And it's been hijack and take over and I run from, run by other people. Now, when you talk, George Floyd, I think George Floyd has amplified that movement. The death of George Floyd has empowered that movement now to a stronger organization. But why the people them had to say this is wrong and things, because it was all in the face that it was wrong. It wasn't something that could have, was hidden, like a lot of things that, we don't get to see. A lot of youths that lose them life and, you don't see it on video. Or police deal with some other people. But that incident was there for the whole world to see.
Right, but you see now, what you do, what you've just done is point to something that is significant, because the attitude that a lot of white people have towards black people, they have that attitude because of ignorance. They don't know. But when they come to know, they realize, wait a minute, it's not right. But them never know what's going on. So a lot of people, when they come to know, they can see. So we have a duty to ourselves to make people know what they don't know. So that's even part of what we are doing right now.
True.
So while we can be in some way concerned about the white man who is ignorant, our immediate concern right now, I think, is the black man who is ignorant, because there are a lot of black people who are ignorant. And the ignorance, so when we talk about ignorance, sometimes in Jamaican parlance, we talk ignorance means somebody that go and bother some. No, but ignorance just means you don't know. So the ignorance in Jamaica towards the race is something very serious. So we have to. All right, I'm going to tell you something. So I have much faith in the progress of life, because the very first time, the very first time I go to Africa, it's me and my mother go, and she's a Jehovah's Witness, and well, she's passed away now, but she was a Jehovah's Witness, and to see a Jehovah's Witness want to go to Africa just shows you that things can change.
True.
You understand me? So we have to work and help to make that change. And to a certain extent, I don't like to use the word blame, right? To blame other people. But you have to acknowledge some things that are not as they should be, put it like that. And I think, so hold on a minute, let me ask you something. How much time we have? How much time we have now?
We have 10 more minutes. We have 10 minutes.
All right, okay. All right.
I'm still going to ask you some questions. I did want to ask you still.
All right, go on, ask me.
All right. I don't even think them things are kind of relevant still to what we really are talking about still, but kind of just change the course a bit, you know what I mean? You did a documentary on black people in the 90s, and later in 2008 it was something that it brought you to the Jamaica Reggae Festival, the documentary that you did.
Yes.
Talk to me about the documentary a little bit and it making the film festival in Jamaica.
All right. Well, that documentary was in two parts. The first part looked at the movements of black people over the past in the 1900s. Let's put it like that. So we never go back too far, right? Just to say, during the 1900s, this is what happened to black people. Yeah, and so the documentary includes things like even the works of Marcus Garvey, and it went into depth on the works of Marcus Garvey. It talked about what things were happening, right? And part of what it talked about is how Rasta came forward it just deal with the history of black people, the collective history of black people from all over. So touching America everywhere, right? But the second part of the documentary now looks forward. So we're projecting now to what is to come. Yeah. And so that is where it talks about Seed for Africa, etc., etc. But listen, why the film was given us showing at the first Reggae Film Festival is because the way the film was put together at different points where different things are being said. We as black people are reggae musicians. We have a song for everything. Virtually everything you can talk about, you have a song about it. So, your film might have soundtrack and music behind it. Well, the music behind most of what was going on was reggae music. And so, because of the significant contribution that reggae music made to that film, the film was given a special showing at the first Reggae Film Festival. So that's how that they go.
Okay. All right. Talk to me about your time at BBC. BBC Leicester?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that journey there.
Yeah. What you want me to say?
Tell me what you used to do, man. What you used to tell the people, I don't be, because I read your bio, them don't know them. And the people are more interested. Me ask the question for the people, them still.
All right, okay. Well, listen. You said we'd have 10 minutes, and I think I have one more minute. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that I can talk about. A lot of things. So perhaps what we can do with the IA's grace, we have a next talk next time, because each thing that I touch on, I could expand on that. Everything that I talk about, I can expand on that. So even the thing about, you asked me about Radio Leicester, that's a whole story. Yeah. So we're not going to try and fit that in a minute. But one thing that I would mention now.
Need a UGC video for your business? Find me and many other skilled creators on Fiverr. Or you could grab a top camera, add good lighting to make everything pop. Learn the latest trends, stay updated, videos change fast. Plan your content, be consistent and creative. Know your platforms, adapt your content. Each one's different. Edit like a pro, cut, trim, and polish. Make it shine, but not too shine. It's still user-generated content. Or just find your next creator on Fiverr.
Did you know that talking out loud to yourself is a sign of a high IQ?
Really? I thought I was just bananas.
You probably definitely still are. But let's think about it. When you talk out loud, you're actively reinforcing these problem-solving skills.
Okay, then how do I find my IQ?
You can take this super simple test online. It's only 30 questions, and that's legit.
is that in 1987, when it was Marcus Garvey's centenary, I did a piece on this station to look at the life and works of Marcus Garvey. And it was an extensive piece there. And as part of that, I did a telephone interview with Marcus Garvey Jr. And look at it, 10 minutes up. We can tell you this.
Yeah, man, go on, talk, man. I will in control, you know, nobody not control, but
All right, good. So I did a interview with Marcus Garvey Jr., a telephone interview from the States. And I have heard that when Marcus Garvey left Jamaica for the last time, he said that he does not want to set foot again on that island. I hear that. But I know that man and man talk all kind of things, and sometimes it's exaggeration and no go so. Yeah. So normally when I do an interview on the radio, I aim to ask the sort of questions that I think the listener would be interested to get the answer to. I kind of focus my mind on that. But in this interview with Marcus Garvey Jr., it was a question that I was asking because I personally wanted to know. No business if anybody else want to know. That's for them business. Me want to know this. So I asked him, is it true that his father said that when he left Jamaica, that he said he does not want to set foot back on that island? And Marcus Garvey Jr. said, yeah, it's true, he said that. Now, obviously, I don't know if he said that, because he don't tell me that himself. It's his son tell me that now. And that is the closest I could get to Marcus Garvey. So, but him son confirmed that he said that. So I asked him, so when Jamaican government decided to exhume his body and take it back to Jamaica, did his family have any say in the matter? And he said yes, they consulted with his mother. So when he tell me that, no, we just make the matter rest. But what I was thinking, and I've been thinking from that day till now, and been thinking before and still think and will always think it, is that if the man said if they want to set foot back on that island, why them go and dig up the man's bone and carry it back? That me I think, you know.
why they do that?
Yeah.
The
Because
wicked
perhaps
set
they
of
never
people,
knew.
man.
Well, perhaps I never know him say that, so I don't know. yeah. But and it could be said that they do it to honor Marcus Garvey.
Maybe.
And I can see that too.
Maybe.
Right. And you must realize that Marcus Garvey Jr. said that his mother agreed. So you can't put the blame on the government alone, if I saw it go. So, but the point is, I think, so I can't speak for Marcus Garvey now, you know, but I think that Marcus Garvey must be turning in his grave, man, to know that the man have come and dig up him bone and can't back when he never want to be, back on, right? So I think, I think that the government should know. So I suppose I can't take my word that Marcus Garvey Jr. said that, and Marcus Jr. passed away just a little while ago. So I could have confirmed it to them. But that's what I'm saying. That Marcus Garvey did, I understand that Marcus Garvey did say that. And perhaps the Jamaican government should do something to, them can't dig up the boat and carry back to England. But I think they should do something to indicate that, to make Jamaicans and other people realize that Jamaica government did not treat Marcus Garvey good. These who sing, them never love Marcus, poor Marcus. The Mighty Diamonds. No, the Mighty Diamonds.
Okay.
And yeah, and Burning Spear sing, no one remember poor Marcus. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that Marcus Garvey had a horrible time.
Your mic is milk. Your mic milk. Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. Yeah. What I said is that Marcus Garvey got treated very, very badly by the Jamaican establishment. And
if you release 5 singles and 3 albums over 5 years in DistroKid, the grand total is $1,238.20. For Lander, it's $119. That's like $1,000 less. Okay, if you are really looking to grow your audience, you want to have that leave a legacy, you want to do the YouTube Content ID, be discoverable in the car and on Shazam, and get added to future stores. If you want to do all that with DistroKid, it's going to cost you a lot more, whereas it's all included with Lander.
Josh was just a creative guy with great ideas until he started creating with Artlist's all-in-one AI platform.
And now, Josh is the largest studio in Hollywood. Let's take a look inside.
This is where Josh eats breakfast every day. It takes Josh 12 days to create these incredible films, unlike a standard production that may never get done. This is the phone where he recorded his original voice memos.
An unconventional love story between a garbage man and a...
Here's Josh working on his award-winning films with Artlist.
And this is where the magic happens.
Hey guys, anyone got gum? Thank you.
Do you think I'll get the credit for this?
No, absolutely not.
Experience the magic of a Hollywood studio right from your bedroom with Artlist AI.
You see, it's one thing to do things that are wrong or things that are not right. And we all do things that are not right. But it is important when it is recognized that, you know, I did something that wasn't right. You acknowledge it as the first step in trying to put it right. And so I think Jamaica has to acknowledge that the man who they call the first national hero, Jamaica should make it known that really we did not treat this man right. And that would start to put, you know, mend some things, mend certain things. Mm-hmm. But you see, I don't know if the way Jamaica, you see, I don't want to talk politics, see? But because when I talk about changing the mindset, so I'm going to have to keep using that word now because your program have the right name. This is all about mindset. Yeah.
Yes,
I say, all your mindset, or your mind is set will determine what you do. Mm-hmm. So if your mind is set right, what you're going to do is not right. So we have to move towards getting the right mindset.
True.
For each of us.
True.
So I said, and right now, I think part of the problem, or well, not part of the problem, the whole problem is that Jamaica has largely, when I'm talking in general terms, have the wrong mindset. So all of that is to change the power that Rasta have shown and exerted over the whole world. It's amazing power.
All right, interesting you said that, you know, because this leads me to that question, you know, because I have two more questions I want to ask there before we wrap up on things still. Rastafari in Africa, you know, what it's like on the ground for, you know, Rastas even returning to Africa. You know, South Africa have a huge number of Rastas in South Africa. Talk to me about Rasta and Rastafari and, you know, South Africa in particular.
Right. Before I try to address what you asked me, I have to it come back to mind that I have to give thanks to Jabi Bonnie, because yeah man, that's a brother that I first met in South Africa in 1994 when they had the first election, and I was surprised to go down there and find out Bonnie was living there, and not just Bonnie, there was other black man down there, even in at that time, right? So no respect to Bonnie, and Bonnie is a man who, well, I think he was on a program a couple of weeks or so ago, and he's a man who knows enough about Rasta. But anyway, so I give thanks to Bonnie that we make this link, because if it was for Bonnie, I would not be on your show today. All right. So we'll hear this now. If you're going to ask me about Rasta in Africa, it is not what people think, and I don't want to say something and give a piece, and then the piece don't give you a proper picture. So let me say, if it is the eyes will, then we can have another reasoning and we can touch on other subjects. But each subject is too big to address in a couple sentences.
No man, go on talk, man. We're not nobody not run away now. How much people we have on the line? We have 33 people. More of a large up everyone where they are within the Niger. Zane, we have about 33 people. We have to say manners and respect for them and take the time. We are going to continue the reason, the elder go on reason. Zane, yes, so we're not going to cut it right now, because I know the people, you know, there it would be such a shame to try, you know, cut off it on the people like that.
So you asked me specifically about South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's, let me see now. I can't remember 2000, about 2006, around about that time there. Perhaps a little bit later still. It's the last time I was in South Africa, right? Most of the time that I spend now in Africa is in East Africa. Okay, so I don't want to try to tell you too much about what is actually going on in South Africa as such. I can look on YouTube and get a vibes, but when we talk, I like to talk what I know. When I like to talk what I think.
So, I Virgin that said you have the largest Rasta in South Africa.
Yes, yeah, but that's what I gather from information that I can see, right? That you don't have no way on earth you have more people, more Rasta than in South Africa. But the South African, what I talk now, what I gather from other sources now, I talk about one
I think them said them run the Rasta organ in South Africa.
Well, you see,
they're responsible.
All right. All right, hear this. But Marty did say, reggae music will get bigger and bigger until it finds its right people. We said that, you know. And that is what has happened. You see, reggae music started in Jamaica. This is a thing I said, right? That reggae was born in Jamaica, but it now lives in Kenya. It now lives in Kenya. If you go to Kenya, you will be
but wait there, you know, but them say right now France are the one for reggae music or something like that. And that them say France are the university reggae. Some other sort.
Yeah. But when them say that, you know, what I mean is that's where reggae music is being made.
See?
Yeah, right.
What I mean by being made, though, because I don't know.
No. No, but what I say then, when them say about France, when we say Kenya is the home, so reggae was born in Jamaica, but it now lives in Kenya.
Yeah.
I mean the people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the people, right? You go up on like what you call the minibus, them call it matatu. Pure that you hear, you know. I just reggae, everywhere you go is reggae music here, right? So, but when I talk about reggae music right now, what I say is this, that we're talking about Rasta. Yes, as far as I gather, South Africa has more Rasta than anywhere else. And the man them take Rasta and make it into what they add their own Africanness to the Rasta thing now. So Rasta is not what we in Jamaica would think about Rasta.
But I would have said Rasta was always Africanness still.
Well, all right. So that is what I said. Bob Marley said, Rasta, reggae music will get bigger and bigger until it finds its right people. So it gone to find its right people, and its right people are in Africa.
True.
I'm not sure you know, right? So yes, in Africa, in South Africa, I can't talk too much about what's actually happening on the ground. But what I can tell you about Rasta in Africa generally, yeah. So let me point out something to you now. The first time I go to Africa, I went to Zimbabwe. And the weekend when I reach, I go to a club. And a man come up to me in the club, and the man called me aside, because you have music I play. The man really wanted to talk to me. And the man said to me, Africans don't like the fact that black people come from the West and act as if because they come from the West, they are some way superior to the African. Him said Africans don't like it. But they're not going to tell you. That's what he said to me now. They're not going to tell you. So I don't know why him tell me when him tell me that. And I come to find out the reality. I come to see it in the starkest way. But again, no, I forgot to tell you that story. I don't want to go to the story there for make you know, oh, me see that. That's a real something, right? So now, what you have is that if you're going to talk about Rasta in Africa.
But all right, Rasta said, just to back up what I said a while ago, see, because you have Rasta now, where I say, boy, Africa awaits its creators, and the creators is the Africans them now, which is the Rasta-minded, Pan-African-minded, Africans them in the diaspora who are go back home to Africa, see. And a lot of Africans, as I said, do not ascribe or subscribe to that narrative.
Yeah, but you see, you're the problem. You see, if Africans from the West are going to be the creators, yeah, you can go back and do the work now. That don't mean you have to go on like you're bigger than everybody else. You can still go and be part of the people and just be normal like the rest.
Just like what Marcus Garvey did say.
Yes, you just go and be part of the people and just live with the people and nobody go on like because you come from the West. Do something. You might be doing you might be coming with things that they don't have. And you might be coming to help. But it doesn't mean you have to go on like you're king over them or something. And they don't like it. That's the man tell me. I mean, no, it's not true.
Western mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. So, listen, man. I have been, I can talk all night, you know, so you have to know that, right? I have seen, I don't want to call no name. I don't want to talk about it in a way that anybody can identify who or what I'm talking about. But I've seen a very high profile reggae band in Africa. And I have sat in a hotel room with these men, but they did not know I was a Jamaican. I never tell them. And I would have to give you the history how that come about too, right? But I have seen with my eyes and hear with my ears all those high profile Rastaman talk about Africans. I see and hear it. Right? You would never believe, if I tell you who these people are, you would never believe that them people could go on like that. But we see it. Something I've seen. A brother called me today from Kenya. And him say the thing from last night about Nzinga. So him see that. So him still him Kenya and him see it. And him don't see it because I tell him just see it. Anyway. So in the conversation I asked him about a brother because I wanted to make reference to this brother. So there's a brother, those two brothers who in Rongai, that's a particular part of Kenya. And two Rasta brethren. Yeah. But when I go to Africa, I don't go to say I'm going to link with Rasta man, you know. I just go to be the people. So if a Rasta man did it, I'm with him. But if not did it, I'm not with him because I'm with the people.
Yes,
so,
sir.
So this brother, a brother, tell me that them two Rasta man they bout man. So I say, yeah man, I like me the man there. And so contact was made and me arranged to meet this man. And I could not believe it that when we tell the man where to meet, the man don't know where me I talk about. The man did not know where I was talking about. And it come like, you know, if somebody live in London, I say that them don't know where Trafalgar Square is. It was like that. This man just did it. And them man, they don't mix with the people. These people must come to them. And the people go to them too, you know. But the people are going to them to
smash that subscribe button. See you on the next video. I just start the mindset.